2017, in time for the regular meeting of the Wenatchee City Council. First item on our agenda tonight would be the pledge to our flag. Councilmember Bailey, would you lead us in the pledge?
I will.
Thank you.
Rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. For roll call this evening, we have all of our council members are present. Councilmember Esparza is with us via phone. First item on our agenda this evening are the consent items, which includes this evening's agenda, vouchers, and the minutes from the previous meetings.
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the agenda, vouchers, and minutes from the previous meetings.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Huffaker, second by Councilmember Bailey to approve this evening's consent items, including the agenda, vouchers, and minutes from the previous meeting. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That was
That was a yes. A little bit longer delay for you, Ruth, in where you're calling from. I'll have to really test me.
I had to unmute. Sorry.
Okay. Next item on our agenda will be citizen comment. Any member of the audience wish to address the council on any item, we'll give you 3 minutes. Give your name and address for the record. Seeing no takers. We will move on to our presentation tonight regarding Small Business Saturday Proclamation. Councilmember Kulas, do you have that?
I do. This is for Small Business Saturday, November 25, 2017. Whereas the city of Wenatchee, Washington celebrates our local small businesses and the contributions they make to our local economy and community, according to the United States Small Business Administration, there are currently 28.8 million small businesses in the United States. They represent 99.7% of all businesses with employees in the United States, are responsible for 63% of net new jobs created over the last 20 years, and whereas small businesses employ 48% of the employees in the private sector in the United States, and whereas on average 33% of consumers' holiday shopping will be done at small, independently owned retailers and restaurants, and whereas 91% of all consumers believe that supporting small, independently owned restaurants and bars is important, and whereas 76% of all consumers plan to go to one or more small businesses as part of their holiday shopping, and whereas the city of Wenatchee, Washington supports our local businesses that create jobs, boost our local economy, and preserve our neighborhoods, and whereas advocacy groups as well as public and private organizations across the country have endorsed the Saturday after Thanksgiving as Small Business Saturday. Now therefore I, Frank J. Kuntz, Mayor of the City of Wenatchee, Washington, do hereby proclaim November 25, 2017 as Small Business Saturday, and urge the residents of our community and communities across the country to support small businesses and merchants on Small Business Saturday and throughout the year. In witness whereof, I have caused the seal of the City of Wenatchee to be affixed on this 9th day of November, 2017. Frank J. Kuntz, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Kulas. Hello, Linda. How are you?
Sorry, we decorated today downtown, a little wet. You know, every year I like to bring you, Mayor and Council, a good example of small business in downtown. I'd like to introduce you to Megan Collier. She has a full-time job, 2 children, and active children and a husband. Where's she at? There she is.
I didn't run.
Active children and a husband, and she decided about a year ago that wasn't enough, and she opened a small business on the weekends called Quill Denim Lounge. I'm guessing someone you're connected to has found that store. It's pretty. So, and again, that wasn't enough, so she coerced her younger brother, who has been 17 years in retail, to come back home, and they are about to open in a couple of weeks another new business called Norwood, and it will be where Merriment was. Okay. She is our shining star of small business, and she's also on our board. So Megan, will I be accepting that? And we brought you here.
Thank you. Cool.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with the new store. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And you'll probably wander into Norwood. It's a wine bar.
What's that?
Oh,
Morning, man.
thank you.
Oh,
She'll love it.
it's a wine bar?
It is. The word is spreading quickly. I've understood it, yes. It is. Thank you so much, you guys.
Well, good luck and thank you
you.
for being here.
Yeah.
All right, we have one work session item today regarding low barrier study. Sandra Van Osten is here. Sandra, come on up. And Glenn is here.
All right. Go ahead.
Good evening. I'm Sandra Van Osten with the Community Development Department. And we're here to request your approval on two items regarding the homeless grants. One is for a low barrier emergency shelter feasibility study contract. The funding was established and approved by the Homeless Steering Committee and the Council in June for this expenditure. And since that time, we've identified a contractor that we would like to contract for this study. It's Building Changes. They've done work with us in the past for our coordinated entry system, so we have a strong working relationship with them. So our first request tonight is approval for the mayor to authorize that contract moving forward.
So I have seen this and I have read it, but I don't have it in front of me. Is it somewhere?
I didn't see it in our packets.
At the end of the packet.
Yeah, I mean, when it was,
I read it earlier this year, so we're just gotta figure out where we have it, because I don't have,
low barrier.
Was it in the published version?
I don't
Part
know.
of the
It's at the
homeless
very end of
grant.
the packet.
I read it, but I don't see it online.
I think it was an attachment to the council report.
Oh, it
If
was-
you look at E1,
Oh, hold
it's
on.
in there.
Okay, hold on.
And because
Oh,
of,
there we are. So we're at E.
because
Oh,
of the
yeah.
holidays, we had to
Got it.
shuffle things around a little bit, and
it.
the steering committee will be providing a recommendation next week. So we would, essentially the request is, should they,
I just gotta find it. So if you're online, you're on page 45.
Okay.
There we are.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, so now we're all on the same page.
All right, there we go.
So is this an action item?
Yep,
or
so this is an
a-
action item, not a
work study?
Not a work session. So this is an action item, item E, authorizing the mayor to do a contract with Building Changes, which is the number one part. And then there'll be another part they'll talk about, which is regarding the agreement with the State Department of Commerce. So this is part of the plan that was recommended by the committee, and Building Changes is going to do a essential housing.
Right, and the requirement for a low barrier study came from Commerce, so it's a requirement of our grants for the 2017-2019 grant term. Currently, we don't have a true low barrier shelter in the area, so this study would basically assess what our current capacities are with our shelters and homeless programs. They'd identify the gaps that we have, and then regionally pull the community together to come together to plan how to best approach that.
Okay. And I know Building Changes have done work for us in the past, have they not?
We worked with them for coordinated entry.
Yes.
And so they helped us with the planning for the implementation of that.
Excellent. Okay, now I'm on my A game. All right, any questions for staff? Again, this was in your packet, just in a different order.
Yeah.
and the original approval for this funding was done previously.
Right.
But we wanted to bring the contract, the proposal before you, and the steering committee will look at it next week.
Perfect. Okay, then I would entertain a motion for item E1, I guess, in the
Your Honor, I
packet.
move for City Council to accept the recommendations as outlined and authorize the mayor to enter into a contract with Building Changes to conduct a low-barrier housing feasibility study, enter into an amended CHG agreement with Washington State Commerce Department, and an amended sub-grant agreement with Community Action Council to allow a funding transfer between HEN budget line items.
And that was actually the second item.
That's all right.
That's the
Yeah.
second, okay.
So let's get them both on the
I-
table, and
Okay.
then we'll have you, and then we'll pass it. So I'm looking for a second to that
Okay, I'll
motion.
second it, so it's on the
Okay.
table, and then we
So
can
have
discuss
a
it.
Motion by Councilmember Harold, a second by Councilmember Huffaker. Discussion. So why don't you go ahead and discuss the second part of that?
Oh, I'm curious. So low barrier shelter means there's no other place to go?
Low barrier is really trying to minimize some of the entry requirements for people trying to find an emergency shelter.
Okay.
So one of the most common ones is ADA accessible, clean and sober requirements. Things like that can really block people from finding shelter.
Okay.
Yeah, so low barrier is the lowest of barriers. So
Just a-
like currently Lighthouse, there's a religious portion that, so if you're non-religious and decide not to go there, well, that's,
Right.
so we're gonna look for the lowest barrier entry.
Someplace when it's cold, you gotta
Yeah.
go we all have to go somewhere.
Yep.
Is this kind of, I guess, moving us forward or towards, maybe forward's not the right word there, but at least moving us towards the housing first kind of philosophy of doing business?
It is, it's totally in line with that. So, the idea of getting people into housing as quickly as possible, and part of that is getting them shelter so they can get referrals to services and get support right away.
All right, so why don't you talk about the second part of that then?
Okay, the second one has to do with our housing and essential needs grants. We have a grant with Commerce, so the city has a grant for HEN funding, and we have subcontracted with Community Action Council to implement that program. And HEN is rent assistance, basically, so it can serve people that are at risk of losing their housing or people that are literally homeless. So what we're requesting is a budget line adjustment. When we started the grant that was authorized in June, we had split the funding between those two populations, so we evenly split it based on our best projections. Since that time, though, there has been a much higher demand for prevention services, so we're seeing our prevention funding being drained there. So we're recommending that we do an internal budget line transfer of $68,096 between, from rapid rehousing to prevention. So there's no additional funding in play, just a budget line transfer.
Okay? Glad we can do that based on what the need is, so that's. All right, so we have a motion, we have a second. Any other discussion items for Sandra or Glenn? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, and sorry for the confusion. We just got this in a spot where
Yeah.
we're
Oh,
kinda
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Thanks, guys. All right, action item A regarding a mural donation from Washington Federal Bank. David.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. Good evening. I'm Dave Erickson, Parks and Recreation Director for the city. Tonight, we're seeking a motion to accept the donation of the mural that used to be at the Washington Federal Bank, which is no longer there. Last August, the bank contacted the city about the possibility of us acquiring the mural. It was created by artist Walter Graham, and it depicts kind of the resources and industries in the valley. So what we did is we took that proposal to the Arts Recreation Park Commission and had them review the possible donation and how that fit with our art acceptance policy. And they did, and so the commission actually recommended unanimously to accept the mural, provided that it survived the removal process, because at that time it was still attached to the building, which it did. There was a couple of tiles that are going to need to be repaired, but they can be repaired from what we've heard. And that we had a location to put it. And so staff is kind of suggesting that possibility, because of the size of the mural, trying to incorporate it into the federal building renovations, potentially. And the bank paid for all of the removal cost and storage, and so they have it secured away in a top secret location. No, it's in Yakima, I think. And in the agenda report, you can kind of see one of the pictures I took of the process when they were taking it down. So you can see all these little blue dots on it. That's tape, so each piece is individually numbered like a puzzle, so they can put it all back up when that time comes. With that, I'd be happy to try to answer any questions, and I know we have representatives of the bank here who could also probably talk about this donation.
No, I don't have any questions. I think it's awesome that the bank did this.
Yeah.
So, bank reps want to come up? Lisa, Stasha, Ken, come on up, or whoever's with us. Okay. Come on up and grab a chair. Well, first of all, thank you for doing that. What an awesome thing to try to save that mural for us so we can find a different home for it. So we
Yeah.
appreciate you taking the extra cost and thinking of us when you did that.
Yeah, we're grateful to the council and the city for looking at it. It's obviously been here a long, long time and part of our shared history. We, as a bank, have been here, that location's been there 60, 50 some years. And so something that preserves the heritage and art that's in Wenatchee. So glad to be a part of that, and thank you for receiving it.
Yeah, and how's the remodel coming? It looks like a pile of rubble
Well,
last time I went by.
yeah, the remodel's not coming so far, but the leveling, the demolition is definitely happening. So, yeah, there'll be a new branch. We're probably, I'm hesitant to say a date, but this summer sometime there'll be a new branch in that location, so.
Excellent.
Great. And I know we're looking forward to finding a place in the remodeled federal building, and we'll work with our architects and make sure that finds the proper home.
And I did want to say that we had thought about storing it in Yakima, but it's actually being stored here just in a rental facility, so it's local when
Great.
when you're ready for it, so.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So are we getting our picture taken? Anna says we're getting our picture taken. So.
It is. Our packet. It was the one that was, I think, on the corner of 9th and Wenatchee Avenue. So.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for being here, guys, and again, appreciate it.
Yeah.
I suppose we should probably get a motion in a second and actually do this, right?
And I'll make a motion for the city council to approve of accepting the donation of the Washington Federal Bank mural and incorporating the mural into the public art collection.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Huffaker, second by Councilmember Markart to approve the accepting of the donation by Washington Federal Bank of the mural into the public art collection. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Just got it waiting for
I wonder if she
David.
wants-
Park and Recs policy update.
Okay, thank you. So this one, we're asking for approval of Resolution 2017-52, which would update our refund policies. Last time we updated these was 2009, and since that time, some things have changed, and we've noticed kind of a trend, an uptick in refunds outside of the normal ones like we had last summer with smoke and things like that. And so we did some additional research on other communities to find out what they were doing now with refunds, and through that research, and we developed some updated policies, which you, I think, have in strikeout underline version. So just kind of going through, aside from the housekeeping things like changing the name to update and all that stuff for the department, some of the other changes are Section 2.1 of the general provisions. We changed the processing fee from a flat $5 to a 25% of the registration or reservation fee to keep it kind of a sliding scale depending on the type of program. 2.2 rec programs, we changed the business days to calendar days because people had a hard time understanding what business days were in some cases. We took out Section 2.3 athletic fields because we haven't rented an athletic field since I've been here, and so we haven't had to do a refund. And actually changed that then to a specific section for day camp programs because that's its own kind of animal. People will sign up for an entire summer, so it's a little bit different than just regular rec programs. Excuse me. 2.4 facilities, we just kind of adjusted some of the dates to better match when people reserve and when they've been asking for refunds. 2.5, kind of the same thing, just added in the processing fee under special events. Eliminated 2.6, which was community centers fees because we don't rent those out anymore. And then 2.6, changed that number essentially to the pool fees. And we made the refund policies consistent for the swim lesson program with recreation program refunds, and then also the pool rentals with the picnic shelter. So it's a similar type of policy across. Before they were different. So we took this to the Arts Rec and Park Commission, At their August 15th meeting, they unanimously recommended approval, and we also took it to the Finance Committee in August too. And they didn't seem to have any heartburn over it. Steve Smith's reviewed it. Staff's recommending approval. And if approved, then we would incorporate it into our online reservation system, the website, our hard copy program information that goes out. Facility reservation stuff would go out with all that information. We would do that over the winter time, so once we hit January and we start getting our 2018 programs and reservations coming in, it'd all be in place by then.
Okay.
All I got.
Any questions for David?
Any particular reason for the, looking at the numbers there, that between 15 and 16, the tick up, over more than doubled? I mean, any particular things that are
I think, the big
driving that?
Yeah, the biggest one is, it's day camp. And so we're looking at how people register for day camp programs also. And so we're going to, I think, change, like what we're finding, well, aside from the outliers that are like people that register for a program, then they don't show up, and then they want a refund because they just want them, like using scholarship money, for example, because they just want the money coming back to them. Aside from those, we're seeing people that will sign up for a program and then like sign up for the whole summer. So that way they're guaranteed their spot. And then not show up and then want refunds when they figure out, oh, I want to take a vacation this day, or I want to do something. So we're going to shorten that reservation or the registration window, and then also change how the refunds are processed to try to eliminate that and have folks make a decision before they actually sign up for the program. Maybe be a little, and that's probably the biggest thing in day camps.
When this was talked about before, if we approve this, and then you still have a discretion if there's an emergency situation, correct?
Yeah, we have the kind of the do the right thing
Yeah.
clause in there.
Okay.
The director's discretion.
Yeah, and we put that in 2009, and it's pretty rare that we have to do it. Somebody, their kid breaks their arm the day that swim lessons are going to start or something. So, okay, yeah, it doesn't meet quite that, but it's the right thing to do. So,
Thank you.
All right, any other questions for David? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve resolution number 2017-52, updating the Parks and Recreation refund policy.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Huffaker, second by Councilmember Markart to approve Resolution 2017-52, updating the Parks and Recreational refund policy. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, David.
thank you.
Like your tie.
Yeah, get the husky tie.
Yeah.
All right. Drug Task Force lease, Chief Crown.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm Steve Crown. I'm the Chief of Police for the City of Wenatchee. The item before you is a renewal of a lease for a facility here in Wenatchee at 129 South Chelan. It is a renewal of a lease for $1,092.72 with the possibility of increasing that on a 3% per year basis. Drug Task Force is a partner with Chelan County, East Wenatchee, and the City of Wenatchee Police Department. Their operations are carried out through this building, and we're looking to renew this lease. In addition to the lease is that there's a clause in there that allows either party to get out of the lease for cause, and that's kind of important because understand that they're possibly looking at some other properties, and that would make it easier for them to accomplish. So the items before you, and I just ask for your vote.
So the funding of the task force, we pay into the county, they monitor, and then they're just paying us back the lease payment kind of a
Exactly.
deal? Okay. And it's for the old police station, a
Yep.
little bit of the main floor and the basement? Or is it
Most
just-
of where their operations is on the main
Main floor,
floor. Yep.
Okay. Any questions for Chief? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Well, Your Honor, I'd move that the council approve and authorize the mayor's signature on the lease agreement between the city of Wenatchee and the Columbia River Drug Task Force.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Bailey, second by Councilmember Poyer to authorize the mayor's signature on a lease between the city of Wenatchee and the Columbia River Drug Task Force. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Aye.
Thanks, Chief. Code Enforcement Board, Glenn.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Glenn DeVries, Community Development Director. We're very pleased to say that we have three great code enforcement board members who are requesting to be reappointed for an additional 2-year term. And staff recommends that the council consider reappointing these folks. They do an amazing job for us on that board.
How many do you have on the code enforcement? Is it 5 or 7?
Let me see, I think it's 5.
5, okay. Okay, and I know all of these folks are known to the city, so. Guess I would entertain a motion.
Your Honor, I move to adopt Resolution Number 2017-53, reappointing members to the Wenatchee's Code Enforcement Board, those being Dawn Files, Adriana Farnsworth, and Emika.
Milka
I can't say that.
Manchik.
Fermanchik?
Yeah, for Manchik. Second. All right, motion by Councilmember Harold, second by Councilmember Kulas to adopt Resolution 2017-53, appointing Dawn Files, Adriana Farnsworth, and Emilka Fermanchik to the Code Enforcement Board. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion-
Aye.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thank you.
Public hearings. We have one public hearing tonight regarding the vacation of the right-of-way along Omi Garden Road. So we will hear from city staff. Looks like Gary Owen, but it might be Matt. And then we'll hear from the community, and then we'll turn it over to the council for any action they may have.
Right, Matt Leonard, Public Works Director. So this is just a continuation of the public hearing for the vacation of some right-of-way along Omi Garden Road. This is the Chelan County and Chelan County Fire District is the properties who this right-of-way will be vacated to. There's the PUD has requested, there's a water line and there's an easement issue that we're working through between, the county and the PUD are working on getting an easement for that water line or making it a private line for a hydrant. So we are gonna, hopefully that'll be resolved by December 7th and we can have the hearing then.
So it was set for public hearing at the last meeting. We continued it to tonight, and you're asking to continue it to the next meeting.
Yeah, we still don't have a deal. The county doesn't have a deal with the PUD yet, so we don't.
Are we better off waiting until January?
That's what I think we should do, yes.
What's
Just since our December 7th meeting is so full already.
What's the first meeting in January, Allison? Tammy?
The 14th, I believe.
Was there any kind of
The
other
11th.
urgencies? or-
11th.
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
How about if we go to the 11th?
Okay.
I mean, obviously, nobody's doing any building right now that they need this. Is it, may I ask, is this the excess right of way that is essentially like for a portion of the road, kind of a steep slope up to the county's
Yeah.
fence line there on their shop?
So the county didn't really get their right-of-way line. So when they built their shop, it was all county right-of-way, county properties, right? So they over encroached into the right-of-way and they didn't get their property lines straightened out with the right-of-way, so their
Currently,
fence
some of their
actually.
shop sits on the roadway that we now own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they should buy it from us, but apparently.
And they're looking at doing a storm pond and stuff in there, so they're wanting to get it all straightened out.
I don't know.
So do we need to take public testimony or can we just continue this?
We'll just ask, is there anybody from the public that would wish to address the council on this matter? Seeing none, I'll turn it over to the council for their action.
Your Honor, I make a motion that we continue the public hearing on this matter, which is to consider the vacation of a portion of city right-of-way along Omi Garden Road, to our regular January 11th, 2018 meeting, which will begin at 5:15 PM.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Kulas, second by Councilmember Harold to move this public hearing from today and continue it on January 11th at 5:15 PM in the City Council chambers. Discussion.
Is there a problem with them getting together with the PUD?
No, it
or
just takes time.
Just taking time.
Well, the
Okay.
issue is the fire hydrant really has no benefit to the PUD. So the PUD wants the county to actually take over ownership of that hydrant line. The PUD, the county uses it to fill their water trucks and things. So it's more operational rather than just a real public safety item.
So they just need to come to some kind of an agreement.
Yeah, and they're working on it. You know how governments take a little time.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion-
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks, Matt. Reports, mayor's reports.
Way to go, Gary.
Yeah, good timing, Gary.
David,
My personal congratulations to Jim Bailey, running unopposed. Keith Huffaker and Ruth, congratulations on being reelected. Congratulations to
Thank you.
to Dave Erickson, but he left the room already. He got reelected as well in the city of Cashmere. So I'm sure you guys are all glad that that little process is over with. We've all been through contested elections, and I know they can wear on you, so congratulations. Your staff has been extremely busy. We had a great Public Works Committee meeting on Tuesday, and then Finance today. Your budget that you'll see, I think you got it probably emailed you today, that will pass next week, hopefully. The one major adjustment was we finally got an updated health insurance number for our police folks. They're not on the AWC plan. They're on a different LEF insurance plan. When we first moved them there a couple of years ago at their request, it saved us well in excess of $100,000. Well, this year's rate increase is 18%, so that $100,000 is now gone and then some. So you'll see an adjustment to our
But
budget.
the plan they were on before would have also taken a big hike, so we're probably still
Well,
okay.
probably, yeah. It is currently now more expensive than the AWC plan that the rest of the city. It wasn't there for a while. It is now by a couple $100 a month, according to our staff. So just that, nothing we can really do about that at that point. We've asked the chief, as we're starting negotiations, their contract ends at the end of this year. We're in negotiations, and we will bring that up and see if we can do something about that. Was a bit of a surprise. Everything else seems to be, I think, in order. So you'll see a final budget. Is the budget they got today, had that included?
I'm not sure if the full council got the budget today, but I'll be sending that before I go home tonight.
Okay, so you'll have the
I didn't get it.
final
Didn't
copy
see
of
it.
the budget.
I didn't get it either.
Can't get mail here or anything.
Allison, what else is going on?
Along that same line,
Yeah.
Rivercom employees are now looking at that same insurance plan.
At the left one?
Yeah.
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 Okay, so. Yeah, we got, again, health insurance continues to be not only an issue for our employees, but for most folks. So it's got to keep working at it.
Tuesday morning employee breakfast?
Yes, Tuesday morning, the employee breakfast, 7:30 at the convention center.
Yes.
So come down and have a breakfast on the city. We got some awards for some of our city folks. So, so we're excited to do that on Tuesday morning. Always a fun breakfast.
And we have Veterans Day Parade on Saturday.
Saturday at 11. I learned 11 at 11. So
11,
I'll never
11,
go
yeah.
down at 10. I know it's 11 now.
Is the fire department still doing their barbecue thing?
I don't know. I didn't ask. So,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Haven't heard?
Haven't heard.
Okay.
So, yeah, I will be there for that.
So they start 10:45 at the Wells Fargo Bank.
Yeah. So, Allison, anything else?
Just gear up for the next two meetings, our big ones. So next Thursday, we're already up to item J. And then December
done.
7th will be a long one, so we'll make sure and have food for
Yeah.
that one.
So we'll go hard next Thursday, then you get a couple weeks off, and then we go hard, and then you get a month off. So, I know. Don't be
Yes.
so excited, Anna.
We do have TPA and LTAC next Wednesday, so it'll be a long
And I've got
TPA
it down.
meeting
Yeah.
for budget. But
And then you have to go to Citizens Academy graduation next Wednesday.
Okay.
So you have to speak there.
So do you have it on my calendar?
yes.
Okay.
Go check.
Okay.
Mine and I graduate. So
Okay, make sure it's on. Are you gonna shoot a gun or anything?
Well, we did the virtual reality. I got my, shall we say, subject with one shot.
One shot, that a boy.
It was a hijacking situation. I had to wait until the driver moved a little bit so I could get a shot in there.
I'm not sure that.
Can somebody explain a little bit more than?
So they're taking the Citizens Academy. Anna and Lyle took the Citizens Academy at the police department, so they're gonna be.
Got it.
Yeah, so Anna's walking around shooting people.
Get junior marshal badges.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could see that from you. I'm not sure about Lyle.
no, but really recommend it. It's great.
Good experience?
Very good experience.
If you haven't,
Well, the
haven't
really
done it,
wo-
it's worth.
the
should
really
do it.
wonderful thing is that Eric Vasquez and remind me of the other Tessa
From the what?
from the Y came to the Diversity Council next week, and they want to do a youth version of the Citizens Academy, and so they're raising money to put that together for next summer.
Oh, that's
So
great.
that's
Nice
and the
idea.
Diversity Council was thrilled. They want to help with that. They're very excited.
Very good idea.
Yep, great.
All right, council members, what do you got going on?
Oh, just a question for Chief Crown. When is the sleepover in the box?
Well, that's next Friday.
Oh, I'm gonna be down there. Chief, you sleeping? I'm sleeping down there.
I've got my box picked out. I had to put two of them together. They're not quite.
I don't have a box. Can I cuddle in with you? Cause I don't have a box.
You should. You're gonna freeze.
Me or him?
A couple of things from the
It'll be
downtown.
warmer.
A couple of things from the Downtown Association to be aware of. Veterans Day on Saturday, the parade that is in the morning, and then that's also the wine walk date for the Downtown Association, and they're anticipating they could have as many as 400 participants in it. That the online sales have been strong, and they're gearing up for that, and that includes purchasing the different tastings at locations as well as coupons for purchases of wine at the chamber office, which they're all stocked up and ready to roll there. And I have found in my time on the Downtown Association board, I have really enjoyed how the Downtown Association and the Chamber of Commerce have really come together on those areas where they have commonality, and including the issue of one of our other government agencies that might want to move. Also, in addition to the small Saturday shopping, the last Saturday of the month, remember that we have the dinner on the 30th. That will be at the Rivertop, I believe. And
Starting at 5.
Ms. Hagman was out decorating downtown today, wrapping the poles with all sorts of jolly and wreaths and whatnot in the rain. And downtown's looking pretty good.
Yes, it is.
So shop local, shop small.
All right, anybody else? Any other council members?
Yeah, I was up at the Iris Success Summit yesterday, and a piece of news came out that the Dahlia Society is going to have their national meeting and show in Wenatchee in 2020.
Cool.
Good.
How many people does that bring? Do you know?
I have no idea, but they usually hold it in Philadelphia or Boston or Chicago. So.
Okay.
The national what?
Tony DeRoy would be,
Dahlia Society.
Tony DeRoy would be pleased.
Yes, he would, wouldn't he? His daughter is still really trying to carry on his tradition,
Yeah,
so
right.
she's very involved in all the plantings. And
Every time they have the exhibit at Pybus, it's just jam-packed down there. And of course, I walk by and see the flowers, I go, that can't be real. You know, they're so interesting in their genetic.
some of them are so big and
Yeah.
Colorful, different colors.
Yep.
The only color they don't have is blue. There's no dahlias that are blue.
Fabulous.
What time of year is the convention?
I think blue's going to be in summer. I'm not sure.
Is it at the Pybus?
Hmm?
Is it down at the Pybus? Or have they decided yet?
Probably, it might be the convention center, I don't know. They haven't talked to you?
2020,
Well,
they said, so
and-
2020, they're probably still planning the location.
Yeah.
They probably are.
Yep.
I'll follow up.
All right, anything else for the good of the order?
They had a
No hogs.
contact.
If not, we're adjourned.